'em up, lay it down just like Matt and Mari. Wrestling liver RHAPUp's gonna make it sorry. Feeling like The Rock cause I'm driving in Ferraris. And we coming every weekend, it's feeling like a party. Will I Ric Flair, Showing out like Bianca Belair, Best podcast, flush it in the air, Roman Reigns and we win it, don't care, No cap. Throw 'em up, lay it down just like Matt and Mari. Wrestling liver RHAPUp's gonna make it sorry. Feeling like The Rock cause I'm driving in Ferraris. And we coming every weekend, it's feeling like a party.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Wrestling RHAPUp podcast. I'm your host, Mari Forth, and with me, as always, my co-host, my tag team partner, Matt. How are you doing?
I'm feeling the caffeine surge, Mari. I'm so well rested. Just feel amazing going into today. How are you doing?
I do not have the caffeine surge. I'm struggling, but we are going to get through this because we do have some wonderful guests here with us.
We do. You know what? Should I introduce our guests or should I just leave them
Please.
hanging? Okay.
Making
their way to the podcast, hailing from the Big Apple, the city of dreams, the capital of the world, the city so nice they named it twice, New York, New York. You know them from the Black and Snerdy Podcast. You know what it is. A weekly pop culture podcast. I think they're probably at episode 100 now. I don't know. Something like that. They'll let us know. Please welcome two Howard Bisons, including host, producer, abolitionist, journalist, Ode, and stand-up comic, writer, humorist, other impressive stuff, inventor of Sprite Kool-Aid, Mo, Ode and Mo, the Black and Snerdy Podcast.
Finally, Black and Snerdy have come back to the podcast.
Yes.
Oh my God. Hype.
Yeah. You know it.
I would just like slam my hands on the ground and be like, ah.
No one passed out after that intro.
Yeah.
It's so glad to have you guys back. We had to get some good energy, some positive vibes in here after a kind of whack week. So
no pressure.
To be quite honest, I'm so glad to have you guys back.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, of course. Let's start off with your thoughts on Wrestlemania, the 2-night event, just overall broad thoughts. For us, for anybody who doesn't know, if you haven't already checked it out, we did not one, but two live reaction podcasts right after both night 1 and night 2. So if you want to hear our really deep thoughts about it, go check that out if you already haven't. But let's hear what Black and Snerdy thought. Please. Mo, how about you go first?
Yeah, I would say I'd break it up into two because night 1 was like top to bottom amazing. It was an amazing night, amazing card, like all of the action, all of like the drama, and it ended on such an emotional high that like it left me extremely satisfied. But then night 2 happened, and there you go. So nothing stays perfect forever. It was just mired with what I felt like that night was cursed. It felt like a very cursed night.
Yes. Odie, how about you?
I enjoyed WrestleMania mostly because all of my other predictions I had came true. I feel like I was doing a really good job of I feel like I'm predicting the way the cadence so that I feel like they try to act like they're doing things all different and they're shaking stuff up and down. You can tell because I'm like, all right, this group won. That means in the next batch, this group's they're gonna lose, and it goes back and forth. And then a heel wins, and then a face wins, and they're gonna be flip flopping. And I predicted everything. I don't think that there might have only been one.
Yeah, I don't think you predicted the Gunther match.
Yeah, the Gunther match is the only one that I didn't really have a full thought. Well, actually, no, I did. For Gunther, I thought that Sheamus and Drew.
Yes.
That Sheamus and Drew were going to tag team against Gunther. And then they were going to knock him out so that one of them could win. That's what I thought was going to be a good match. But, it played out how it played out. I would say the things that were most disappointing to me was just the women's matches because I feel like there were some of them that were really good and then some of them that were boring. But outside of that, I think overall, they could get a solid a solid A.
Damn, a grade.
A solid A. You know, they did a good job. They kept the crowd moving. It was a lot of high energy. Bianca Belair's little Bianca's.
Yeah.
I was just, and then when he was telling like, oh, the little girl, her mom died, and I was like, no, and I was reading it, and I was just like, this was even more beautiful,
right?
Yeah, it was a beautiful night, and I'm so glad that the little girl got her moment in the sun on the worst day of her life, and I hope that she gets so much support and love because she was so talented. And
the contortionist. I don't even have her. I wanted to like look up her name to shout it, but you know she's the logo. She doesn't need her name out there.
Yeah.
So impressive, like so freaking talented. And Mari, you were talking like so beautifully about just all of that on was that Sunday night? Probably Sunday night. Yes. Or Sunday technically night, Monday morning.
Right.
But yeah, no, and you know what? Like the whole show, I love your ratings or your overall look at things. I also love Ode that you were like Ode Stradamus, like predicting everything. But if people want to go back and listen to me and Mari and even Havan jumping in to talk about things, just like go back in the feed, take it in. We may or may not stand by our takes today and going forward. So yeah.
I can't even remember my takes in the second hour for both of those. So yeah, argue with somebody else because your girl was asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's get into some of the news here, some of the like fallout news. So it was like immediately announced almost after the second night of WrestleMania that WWE was sold to Endeavor, which is UFC's parent company, and that we don't know many details. Oh shoot.
What?
My computer, I didn't realize my computer's dying. Anyways.
Oh no. Okay. Oh my gosh. And you know what? I think that brings up a good conversation.
I can plug it up in time. I just gotta.
Oh my god. A good conversation. Well, number one, clearly we're still tired reeling from WrestleMania and podcasting until 2 a.m. But Mari, don't.
Okay, okay. I'm here. So what I was saying is.
Let me move this away. Oh my god.
What I'm saying is Endeavor, we don't know much about the deal, but what we do know is Endeavor basically said that they want to combine WWE and UFC in such a way so that they have the largest streaming, like combat sports streaming service. We don't know. I say all that to say we don't know. Yes, Odie.
UFC is a combat sport.
Yes.
And WWE is sports entertainment. So how can they possibly? Because they're not. Even though there are some UFC fighters who are on WWE.
You're right.
I'm not sure.
Always been like that.
Are you about to ask how could they possibly coexist?
No, I'm just saying. I just don't see. I see the WWE audience enjoying UFC and enjoying that, but I don't see the UFC audience enjoying WWE in the same way. So
for me, I don't enjoy UFC. As somebody who enjoys WWE, I don't enjoy UFC. And I wonder how many other fans are like that, because like I'm not here for real hitting and real fighting.
Yeah.
I don't care about that. Like I like the storylines, I like the acrobatics, the choreography, the the choreographed fighting or whatever have you. That's what I like. So I don't truly like to see blood that often. Mm-hmm. I'm not down to accidentally see somebody break their foot or break their hand or break something or their face all swollen after a match. Like that's not me.
Yeah, UFC is very, very violent,
graphic.
It is very, and I do not like it. So I don't. That's what scared me about this merger thing. I had the same thoughts that Odie did. Like, don't combine. Can we just keep this separate?
Yeah.
Maybe just streaming platform. And one of the other things I was thinking, like UFC still like you pay like $50, $60 for a pay-per-view.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, we've kind of been spoiled for what it's been 9 years of having the WWE network, and then now Peacock, and I'm sorry, I'm not paying $50 to $60 for a pay-per-view anymore. That's not happening. That is not happening. Not with this product. Not with this product.
You know what I could see happening? That people who like UFC fighters who are maybe like not past their prime, but like who no longer want to be, bludgeoned on I could see them moving over to WWE because it's still an intense physical sport, but it's less risky in that way. It's because there's Ronda Rousey and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, like a talent exchange of some kind, or even like some of like the, like even if they're just like personalities, like the way that they could be like special enforcers or something like that.
I could see that happening. Like Bad Bunny, he comes out, he does a few bumps, he falls a bit, and then he leaves. And I feel like that could be interesting on the WWE side. I just don't know how a WWE person, unless it's someone like Brock Lesnar who's already been in UFC.
Well, maybe Bobby Lashley.
Okay,
because he used to do MMA fighting.
Like maybe like how that would translate over. Because if I'm used to fighting and not getting like beaten up every week in that way, I don't know if I would like jump at the chance.
I mean,
exactly. The thing is,
sorry.
No, I was just gonna say with that, like they in UFC, they only like wrestle like a handful of times per year anyway. So it's like also like you're risking getting actually injured. It's not great. But what were you gonna say, Mari?
I was gonna say some WWE performers do have they have martial arts backgrounds, so if they want to, they can. But like Matt said, why would you want to? Why would you want to risk, your real livelihood for something like it? Would have to be a pretty good payday. My biggest thing is I don't want them to try and make WWE more realistic or anything like that. Like I don't.
Sure.
That
I just don't feel like WWE is gonna change. Like I feel like WWE will be the same because these people are so freaking stubborn. Like Triple H coming out, and we'll get to it, but like coming out.
We'll get to it right now.
He's just like basically like we ain't going nowhere, and it's just like, sir, nobody thought you were because you're gonna burn. You're like this, like the earth could be burning and WWE could still be running shows. Like we know this. But even like just before getting to more of the changes with WWE, like what I would like to see if I had a magic wand with UFC is I want WWE wrestlers to teach those UFC fighters how to do like moonsaults, DDTs, like super kicks. I want to see the actually I really probably won't even watch it, but the chances that I would watch it, maybe it's like bringing in the wrestling moves into UFC, and then bam, and then we get like the theme songs, we get the pyro, we get the lights, we get the costumes. Like I want all of the best parts of WWE to infect UFC, but I just don't want UFC to touch WWE because they've tried that before.
Right.
Like 20, 30, 25 years ago, they did the Brawl for All thing where it was like actually legit wrestlers fighting each other. It was a horrible disaster. And then they did that thing, Maury, what was it called with Shane McMahon and where Omis came from? Like the fight pit.
Raw After Dark or Raw Underground.
Raw Underground. I remember that.
Raw Underground did have some potential, but
wasn't that also around the same time when they turned out the lights at the third hour of Raw? Like they were just throwing anything at the wall to get.
Sounds familiar. Yeah, they like.
What?
I think he's right. Yeah, like Raw Underground was like they gave it its own slot. It was like the second hour or something like that, and then for like the third hour there'd be like no pyro, no nothing. It was like weird. They were really trying weird things back then.
What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
They were doing whatever they could to get those ratings up. They were just like, we're gonna have Shane jumping around and yelling at wrestlers / fighters.
Cheerleaders.
Cheerleaders. Yes, I remember
Stupid. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Like Triple H coming out, oh yeah, you've heard of the business and we're not going anywhere. It's supposed to be like, oh, Triple H is still the face, but we had plenty of rumors about Vince having a hand in creative on Raw on Monday. I saw rumors about like the production team was given like 3 different like run sheets, like they were changing it up until the last minute, which was notoriously a Vince move when he was running creative. We heard people were getting cut, like segments were getting cut in ring. There was rumors. Again, this is all rumors, not substantiated. If you want to look into more of some of the people who are reporting this, you can always, of course, go to the Wrestling Observer. Dave Meltzer, Fightful had some stuff on it. Oh, it's Sean Ross Sapp. But go look at the dirt sheets. It was all over the place earlier this week. There were rumors that Becky Lynch was not happy with what was going on in the background, which is why her promo was really tight. Seth Rollins got cut in the middle of his all he could do was walk out to his music, and he was standing in the ring. They went to commercial, they cut him in the commercial.
I was wondering why he was just walking around and not really doing his usual thing.
Yeah, all he did was just like get serenaded for what felt like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then he effed off right back to the back. You know,
there was supposed to be a women's, from what I remember correctly, there was supposed to be like a women's #1 contender match. I think for Raw, 2 of them,
2 women's triple threat matches. That's like 6 women who I'm assuming. Well, yeah, I'm assuming they weren't the ones who competed on the show. So
yeah. And we got none of that. We instead got one match, one women's match, a #1 contender for the tag titles that didn't even include the winners of the showcase.
They broke themselves at Mania. Shayna and Ronda.
So we'll talk more about that. But it from everything that we heard about the behind the scenes of Raw, sounded like a complete shit show. Mo, any thoughts about, do we think this is going to continue? Do we believe that this isn't Vince's doing?
So that's why I wanted to watch SmackDown. Like I was figuring that would be the biggest indicator as to whether or not that Vince's fingerprints was going to be on this moving forward, because he's notoriously a control freak and he has to like have everything has to like go through him. But I honestly, I don't know. I'm still playing like a bit of a waiting game. Like SmackDown seemed to be fine. Like overall, it was a pretty decent to good show. But I guess the testament will be like whether or not next week's Raw is gonna be the same sort of just
malaise.
Yes, just a 3-hour slog of promos and Omos. God, just so much Omos. I'm sorry. I really am not that big of a fan of Omos.
Nigel no declare last, but he just is not the Nigerian contender that he needs to be. Nigerian culture, wrestling has always been very, very like a big part of it. You know, like that used to be like the way that, you know, who's going to be the warrior in the village? We're wrestling, and you come out, and then you see him, the Nigerian giant. But he doesn't do anything but be big.
Yeah, that's his only trait, is being big, and no one in the audience cares. It's been months of that, and no one cares.
We need something else.
But Vince loves big men, so you know he loves him. He loves himself some giants. So, like, to summarize what I was saying, like, I'm still playing a bit of a waiting game to see like how the next Raw is gonna look. You know?
Yeah. And we were talking about it in our reaction, but Omos is very charismatic. Like he was on the interview circuit leading up to WrestleMania, and he was doing really good in a lot of his interviews. He was surprisingly charismatic and witty. And I'm like, I've never seen this part of him because he never talks when he's in the ring. You know, they had me convinced this man can't talk. So,
I mean, you know what though? I get it. I get that he's not. It's weird that he was on the interview circuit because he is a heel. Like, I get if he's so charismatic and people will fall in love with him, then maybe it's best to not have him talking as much. Like, he is very charming and likable. But, you know, I also just feel like with all of this, like with Vince McMahon, and I was just looking up Fightful news and their stories on this. Like, Vince McMahon, I'll say allegedly, was in the gorilla position like all night where people come out and all of that. And he had his fingerprints all over the show. There were a lot of people frustrated. So I believe he was involved there at the Raw after Mania. Like, no doubt about that in my mind. But I just think that he did that because he was around, right? Like, I don't really think like he showed up to SmackDown, and I don't think he'll show up next week, but I think he said, oh, this is a big show where I set things in motion for what's to come. Like, let me get my nasty, dirty, grubby, criminal, predator fingers all over this. And he did. And you know what? Like, we saw it. But you know what? I just don't think it's going to be a pattern of behavior. I mean, if it is, well, that's a whole other conversation.
So much so that we also got rumors that Bayley walked out too as well. Like, Bayley was not happy with whatever the storyline or whatever it was going on. Lots of rumors. We have not heard anything from Bayley's side. She tweeted out like a cryptic kind of tweet on the night that they lost.
What was that tweet, Mari?
The tweet was like, and sometimes the romantic story ends.
Bye.
Yeah.
That was it.
So not good. We did get a question from Jacob, who I'm pretty sure was hanging out with us those 2 nights in the chat while we were half asleep. Jacob said, how do we think the merger / sale is going to affect the company and content moving forward? Will it at all? I think we addressed that. So thank you, Jacob. I think the biggest thing is like we said, will Vince continue to be in gorilla position? Because the rumors have been for months that, oh, he's back to help facilitate a sale, and that also he wanted to sell to some people who would give him more power. And then of course he ousted like 3 members of the board. So it was like a hostile takeover. Who knows? But
it's not a secession, basically.
Hostile takeover.
Yeah. So we don't know, and unfortunately it will take time. Mike Edwards followed up and asked, Endeavor is said to be in debt following the purchase. Like, what?
He's in their pockets. You know?
Yeah. I mean, what is with rich people like going into debt to buy companies that they then run into the ground?
Well, because I think like, I mean, and just to continue that question, like Mike asks, like, who is on the list, the potential list to be future endeavored because of it. Honestly, I think one thing that I'm curious the rest of your thoughts, but I feel like something I've learned in my adult life is that going into debt doesn't matter when you're like rich, because I don't understand how it works, but you could go into debt and it's fine.
It's imaginary.
Like, it's imaginary. It's like you're like, oh, it's all good. Like we'll get your money sometime. But if it's like an individual, then it's like you're going to jail. So I don't think it will matter. But I do think, you know, maybe the future endeavor question's interesting, because I was also thinking about that in relation to Vince McMahon if he's back. I don't really think that they're gonna let people go because of it.
I think people might walk because of it.
Oh, that's a whole up. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. I know that I agree with you. I don't know how many people will be future endeavored, but I definitely feel like we could get a couple more walkouts, depending. So that's unfortunate. Yeah. A year on, and Sasha and Naomi were right. Mercedes and Trinity were right.
Yeah, they called it. They saw it. They saw the vision through their third eye. They figured it out, and then they fucked off. This said, "I'm out."
I mean, we haven't even talked about it. Actually, just speaking of Naomi, but like allegedly she is now officially gone. I don't know when that actually happened, but I saw that story a couple weeks ago, maybe.
What I know. I think it was earlier this week, last week.
Honestly,
WrestleMania.
What is time?
It was. Oh, she announced it at Wrestlemania. Remember, it was like on Wrestlemania that she was just like she's not done yet, and just. And I'm wearing I Feel the Glow shirt. I'm just so sad that it does feel like she's well, not feels from what she says she's officially out of the company. She's changed her names.
Good for her though.
Trinity and stuff like that. Julianne asked if AEW comes up. I saw on social media that Jade Cargill and Trinity were hanging out. #baddie. Jade Cargill and Naomi have been hanging out all year. They were hanging out last year since the walkout. So
I'm actually angry about it. I don't like it. I don't like them hanging out
without
because
you.
It's just like, why do you get to hang out without us? Like,
so I mean, if Trinity goes to AEW, that would be very interesting. I mean. I would turn on that TV faster than anything. Rampage, that's normally Jade's stomping grounds. I'll be there. I'll be sat every Friday, to be quite honest. Yeah. Great picture of you did Naomi and Jade hanging out last year in a basketball game. So or is this currently? I don't know. They've been hanging out. So it would be kind of cool if they were to team up and then maybe
or feud, like actually, because Trinity could take Jade's championship. She undefeated, 50 plus wins, like not that much interesting stuff going on with her. I mean, I think that Jade Cargill should never be defeated and she should keep going. But if anyone does it, Trinity has the glow. She has that that glowing magic. Those, I don't know what the glow substances are.
I agree, but also I think it's also time for Jade to I mean, why are we still keeping her as a secondary champion? Like, why is she not going for the women's top prize over there?
I'm not mad though, because she's Jade freaking Cargill and she's better than all of them. Like the thing is, Mari. Look, nothing against AEW. I want to be very careful what I say here. But I'm just saying, like, she is better than all of those. I'm not going to call them peasants. I was about to call them peasants. She's better than all of those people in AEW, though. And, I'm just saying she could take whatever she wants. She's happy.
Very true. All right. So, and finally, this is like the longest news segment, but honestly, y'all, I mean, it's okay because it's like we don't have much to talk about with the clips. Finally, Triple H announced that on SmackDown that the draft is coming back in a few weeks. So contrary to there was some very, very contradictory dirt sheets saying the draft was going to be literally the day after WrestleMania. I'm like, that's stupid. If y'all believe that, that's stupid. Like another a wrestling Twitter account said that oh my god, who was it? They said that Wrestle Purist, I think, said that there was going to be a draft the night of, and then Sean Ross Sapp reached out to them and confirmed that it wasn't happening. That place then put out a statement like, we did not say anything about draft. So it was one of those things. There's just people reporting whatever they wanted to report. But Triple H comes out and tells us he just says in a few weeks. So my guess is we'd get the draft sometime after Backlash.
I mean, that makes sense, right? Like they do the big Bad Bunny hosted Backlash in Puerto Rico event and then switch gears immediately to the draft. It makes sense from a logistic standpoint is what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. It truly would not make sense to do the draft the week after WrestleMania. That doesn't make any sense at all. So
or before the pay-per-view, when you're setting all these stories. So you know what they could do though, because here's my problem. He used the phrase a few weeks, and I'm not gonna be judging him on grammar, but a few weeks for me would the equivalent of
maybe just equate?
Yes. Yes, equates to 21 days, which would not even take us to May. Like, I'm just saying 3 weeks is what I was assuming.
Very specific. Like,
yes, well, he said a few, not several. He said not several. What? Isn't a few to you like a few,
like
not
3.
several? Yeah, like 3.
Yeah, few is like from 3 to 5, right?
That's
no, 5 is several.
No, several is 5.
Thank
few
you.
is 3. And many is like probably more than 5.
Wait, isn't this?
Did I miss this day for like random quantification?
Okay, thank you. I appreciate this.
Cool. I remember learning like when you say each of them, words mean things.
Yeah.
So, I feel like sometimes they'll just be talking and then you're just waiting for the talk to match what they're saying. So honestly, who knows? It could be 6 months from now when they start the draft. He said a few weeks.
He said a few weeks.
We don't know.
Wow, this is the most intriguing part. I'm so ready to find out if it's going to be a few weeks or several weeks, which is what Mari thinks
several weeks
be.
will probably. Yeah. I just assume several weeks because I think it would be perfect. You do it
right after.
Maybe not right after Backlash, but that week after that, because that sits you right in the pocket between Backlash and King and Queen of the Ring, which aren't brand specific.
Well, what they've done in the past, don't ask me what in the past, but what they've definitely done in the past at points is that they've done the draft. Like, I remember once or twice or maybe multiple times they've had the draft before the pay-per-view, but then it doesn't go into effect until after. So
yeah, they did it. They did 2016 where Battleground here in DC was. They did the draft before it. They said it goes into effect after Battleground, so they use that as a story narrative for a lot of matches. So the Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn match, the famous one that I was there in live attendance for. They're like, this will be the last time they'll get to face off because they're going to separate brands. And then the Dean Ambrose triple threat that he won, where it's like, who will take? Will the WWE Championship go to SmackDown or blah 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 blah? So like he needs to win it so it can go to SmackDown, like that type of thing. So yeah, they have done it where they've drafted before the pay-per-view and used it as like a storyline narrative.
Yeah,
but I don't see the point in that here. Like, would you do it right before WrestleMania Backlash?
Well, I mean,
that doesn't make sense.
Hold on. First of all, is it WrestleMania Backlash or Backlash?
I think it's Backlash this year.
Is it just Backlash this year? Okay, great.
Okay, good.
They finally got rid of the
WrestleMania. It's been like 3 years of WrestleMania Backlash.
Yeah, whatever. And so, number one, you know what? I remember them doing like I think the first draft, Mari. They did the the biggest draft ever, the most notable one probably. And then Bubba and Devon were separated, the Dudley Boys. And I remember that because I think they had a match that coming Sunday at the pay-per-view and they lost and they cried. And maybe they just want to have emotional moments is what I'm saying.
I have an emotional moment for you.
Oh no. Hold on, where are my tissues?
I have been having a theory about the Bloodline and how it's going to be going for some time now. Right. And my big theory at WrestleMania was that if Sami and if Sami and Jay head off and Jay and Jimmy lose, that this is going to add fuel to the fire and Roman is going to be like, why do I have to hold this family together? Right. So now we've seen how things have played out with WrestleMania and SmackDown and Roman is being real funny style with his family. So now what happens if he forces the draft to split up the bloodline and kick Jimmy and Jay Uso out?
Wow.
So we Jimmy and Jay would go to Raw and him. And then Roman and Solo could stay on SmackDown as
that'd be interesting.
And then Solo is now replacing Jay as the right-hand man, which arguably he kind of is already done.
He is literally.
Thomas is at it again.
That's pretty interesting. I wouldn't mind that because the thing is here when Triple H announced the draft, he kept saying like everybody is eligible. I'm like, duh, aren't they always?
It's always
Yes, and then it was like anybody can on commentary. They're like anybody can be split up. I was like, oh god, I hate when they do that. I hate when they split tag teams for absolutely no reason. Like they do it just for the shock value of them being drafted to different brands, and then they have absolutely no.
There's no shock.
Yeah, there's no shock, but there's no storyline to the split.
Oh no, Mari, the Street Profits are going to be separate in the draft.
Oh, I was just thinking that too. I was like, they better not split up the Street.
It just hit me. They're going to split them up.
I don't want that to happen.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
what are we going to do without the solo cups? Will they both have solo cups? That's a lot of cups.
That's a lot of cups. That's a lot of cups that's being littered all over the floor.
Dang, that's true. I mean, at least the only good thing about draft breakups is it's a way to break up a team without having to do the obligatory like face off. Yeah. And I don't really want either Montez or Dawkins to have to like turn heel in order for them to face off. So
I think it's a good way to break them up, actually. Yeah. Like, I mean, because we've been talking about it, but I haven't been. And actually, to be fair, I feel like Mari, you have probably brought it up most of the time, and I'm just like, no, what's wrong with you? But the draft would be great, and hopefully, the part that I don't like about drafts from history is that like I need Montez and Bianca to be on the same brand. I need Becky and Seth. I need these couples to be together.
Which is clauses for that. Like mostly married couples are always on the same show.
There better be. Didn't used to be though. They used to love to separate couples. So
Dawkins on SmackDown could be pretty cool
with blue solo cups.
Ooh,
yeah.
There we go. There we go. Yes.
Yeah.
Next level. Level up.
There we go.
And then when they come back together, they'll make purple solo cups and those.
Yeah.
Yes.
Purple.
There we go.
You did it.
Yeah. It's like you want a New Day scenario. You don't want to I'm trying to think of one of those tag teams. What was it? Brian Kendricks and Evan Bourne or Sheldon?
Who the hell are you talking about?
I'm trying to think of some of those old tag teams that got split for no reason.
But I feel like we just.
But I'm saying you want the New Day situation because Big E got pushed and became champion, and then Kofi and Xavier
like a Bubba Devon situation back in 2002.
Yeah, even though Devon like tripped into his role. So
testify.
Yeah, you want.
Weren't we just talking about this?
You don't want to just be split to be split. So I'm excited for the draft. I think we also have to think about like ratings and stuff too. I feel like they should aim to put it around mid-May or early May, because that's one of those times where your ratings are flagging. So I that's my guess. My guess would be either the first or second week of May for their draft, even though that's more than a few. Several weeks. All right, let's take we gotta this has been great so far. I love it. So if you haven't already, please go rate and review and subscribe to the Wrestling RHAPUp podcast by going to robhasawebsite.com/wrestling feed, or you can, search Wrestling RHAPUp wherever you get your podcast. Hopefully you're looking at our stunning, beautiful, gorgeous faces on YouTube by going to the Rob Has a podcast YouTube page at robhasawebsite.com/YouTube and watch us, because we like bring up beautiful pictures. We have beautiful guests. Like, watch us, right?
Look at us, very visually pleased.
Yes.
I didn't like the sound of that. But yeah, we are visually pleasing. Yes. Look at us.
So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with the highlights of the week. All righty. So highlights of the week / things we're obligated to talk about. Let's get into it. I think we did a pretty good job of covering a lot of this during the news section, because honestly, it was most of a news speculative week more than anything. Like, nothing they really gave us felt really concrete. It was mostly all conjecture. So let's start off with Cody.
Well, wait, Mari, before we get into Cody, I just need to talk about something. I really, on our night 2 recap, I was just like, look, he didn't. It's okay. He lost. Like, he hasn't earned it. He didn't have enough adversity, which I do agree with. He didn't have enough adversity. But damn, they should have just given him that win at Mania. It's so messed up, Mari. They did that to us. That was to us. Like, that hurt. Cody knew he wasn't going to win. The other 100 million people in attendance, or however many people Triple H said were in the arena, did not know that it was happening. We didn't know it was happening. So I'm kind of scarred. Like, why did they? I don't know why they did that to us, but I'm curious if you have different thoughts on it now.
Not really. I mean, we lost out on a moment. We lost out on a huge moment, but I do kind of stand by the thought process of, the money is in the chase. Right. And I think if Cody hadn't torn his pectoral muscle and had been chasing for the whole year, instead of rehabbing and coming back, I think it would have been perfect timing. Yeah, I think the fact that he was taken out for a couple months, it added to the story, it added to the hype, but honestly, they lost money from that. You know what I'm saying? So you keep him chasing, especially if you have no current idea on how to wrap it up. If you don't have any plans to move on yet, just have him keep chasing until not another year. They clearly want Roman to hit that 1,000 days, so I'm fine with him winning at SummerSlam or something like that. But you gotta do it at SummerSlam, because if you don't do it at SummerSlam, it's not gonna be good.
Yeah, I want him to be like,
where is SummerSlam?
I want him to be like chasing the championship, but I don't want him to be a champ chaser, if that makes any sense.
Exactly, because he's notoriously been that for a while. He needs
to get it at some point when it makes sense. And when he returned when he returned last year, like, I remember being on here like, ooh, they're going to Madison Square Garden where Dusty something. I don't remember what the hell the moment was, but I remember Cody the night after Mania showed like a picture of Dusty with the date of like September 27th, 1980 something, and it was Dusty not winning the championship. And I just feel like Dusty Rhodes will be more of the story and part of it. So we'll see where it goes. But so Cody did show up here on Raw, and that was a thing. I don't really know if there's anything notable or interesting about it. Well, I guess that the night ended kind of interesting, but I don't know if they actually said anything that was notable or interesting, Mari and Cody and Mo.
So it's because of the booking of WrestleMania. This is the first of several promos where people have to justify them losing, but also wanting to continue the feuds. So Cody at least, did a great job here. The whole first hour of Raw was so weird. Apparently, the reason why a lot of the stuff got shifted is because Triple H's segment went long, and then of course this Cody Rhodes segment went long. Excuse me. So
Roman segments always have to go long because they have to account for the 20 minutes of intro. Come down and shake the belts and lift it up. I love his, and mind you, I want to make it clear on the record, I do love his theme song. His theme song is a banger.
It reminds me of Cry Me a River.
It's just, excuse me?
The theme song, the melody reminds me of Cry Me a River.
Because of the piano?
If you listen to the instrumental River and you listen to his theme song, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I think you're by yourself on this.
You don't have to say
I don't know
what you did.
Oh, God. But anyways, so Cody.
I found out from him.
So Cody basically, I did like what Cody said here, like when he said, we both know that I had you beat, and that I people complain about Roman always cheating to win, but honestly, you would complain if he beat him clean. I'm sorry, I would much rather Cody took him to the brink. Cody, he was about to win, and then Solo interfered. I'd much rather have that than Roman basically squash Cody. For me personally, it's like it's the difference between a shit show and a single turd. Like, I'd much rather if Cody's not gonna win, I'd much rather him be protected in the loss.
I think that Roman winning by getting assistance helps to fuel the feud, and then it also because if he won clean, then nobody would be able to say like we want a rematch because it's just like, well, you just lost.
Yeah.
But when you're watching him and you're seeing like he was doing so well, and then of course there's interference, and then that causes the loss. Which for me, I'm like, I don't really feel like he lost because it's interference. So now I want to see you guys match up again without the interference, and then we'll really see who's the best wrestler.
Yeah, Cody ends up still looking strong even in defeat.
Because what was it? Was it Omos's match where it was like 5 seconds? Who was he?
It was 5 minutes versus him and Brock Lesnar. Brock hit 1 F5 and Omos was done.
And I'm like, I don't like when the matches are like super fast or it's like a blowout where you can clearly see the one person's gonna win because it feels like it loses the like excitement and the energy of the match because it's like, oh, what was the point? Yeah. So I think that their match was really good, and it has now added more fuel to this rivalry if they're going to be keeping it going for some time longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did get a question. If not Cody, then who?
Them. They're calling.
Right? Yeah. They're calling.
Who's calling?
Tell you who it is.
So unprofessional.
We love it. Yeah. Who? I think it's Cody.
Same. It's still Cody. Yeah. And then obviously, if it wasn't this Mania win. How has Raw after Mania lost its juice? So that's from Mike Edwards again.
He said, "Has it lost its juice?"
I think it has. Honestly,
I like that. I like that phrasing of that question.
Still think it's Cody. I'm hoping it's SummerSlam. Honestly, I think this is kind of like remember when Roman went against Brock. I know it's hard to remember because they've gone against each other like 8 times. But was it was it Florida? Did he win in Florida?
You're asking me a bunch of information I never even knew.
But remember, I think it was in Florida where he lost, right? Like WrestleMania 34. Remember when we thought, okay, Roman's gonna end Brock's streak. Finally, Brock is done, and then Roman lost, and then he won at that SummerSlam. It's almost like mirroring that. I would think.
I would hope.
What?
I really hope that that's the case.
Y'all don't remember? Yeah. It was like we had the same
7 years ago.
Feeling.
Like when?
It was like I want to say it was at the Florida show, like the Orlando.
There's no way we're gonna remember that.
I'm looking it up.
No, well, they definitely had. They had like 2.
They had like
3.
Like they had like so many matches. Like they had 2 back to back. I thought.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, no, it wasn't this one because Roman defeated the Undertaker at that one, so definitely not that one.
Which one? I'm just thinking. Did Roman and Brock? And they were talking about it. Did Roman and Brock face each other at this past SummerSlam?
This past SummerSlam and this past WrestleMania.
Roman won, and then they couldn't, and so Brock can't have a title shot against Roman.
Yeah, that's what happened at SummerSlam.
They were talking about that on Raw.
Okay, sorry. It was in New Orleans. It was 34. So Brock Lesnar beat Roman Reigns. And that was the one at 34 where everybody was like, Roman's gonna do it. It's finally he's gonna put it into Brock Lesnar for reals. And because he had beaten the Undertaker the year before. So it was both the two, in whatever Undertaker's whatever is, were fighting each other, and then Roman lost, and everybody was pissed, and then he won later at SummerSlam. I think it was before he had the diagnosis and all of that. So 2018. Yeah. So that's what I said all that to say. We went on that tangent just to say, like, this has happened before where you think that the babyface is going to get that triumphant win at WrestleMania just for them to realize that they want to keep it going until SummerSlam, which is the second biggest show of the year. So I'm not too surprised at this point. Like, I'm not mad at it because I still believe that Cody is going to win the belt, and I still believe that Cody's gonna do everything in his power to make this story interesting and fun. So I'm really not worried. I do hate that it felt like he was robbed of that WrestleMania moment, but I think in the long run this could be better for him, you know.
It reminded me, his loss reminded me of Sami's loss a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Against the Bloodline, but then of course now they've won. So maybe it's just like adding that, because I think that there's just trying to fuel that fire and fuel that anger.
Exactly.
Of like what's gonna need to happen to take this man down.
What will it take?
And I feel like there's a few different teams. I mean, like KO and Sami, Brock Lesnar, what's his name? I just fell out of my head. Who's the other one? Cody Rhodes. All together. That could be
not Brock Lesnar.
Like take it off individually. Individually, we just need to have them coming in because obviously.
So with Cody saying that he wanted at least a tag team match, Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns added the stipulation of like whoever comes out to help you can't challenge for the titles as long as Roman is still holding them. So Brock Lesnar comes out and on commentary, I would not have remembered this if they hadn't said it on commentary or in the little like clip it of them in the office, but Brock Lesnar can no longer challenge Roman for the belts because he beat him in SummerSlam. So it was kind of like, for me, I was like, why is Brock Lesnar out here? And I was just annoyed. But then when it's time for the match, Brock Lesnar turns on Cody Rhodes and an extended beatdown that was just very, very hard to watch, which textbook Brock. Poor Cody. It was like I guess it did what it was supposed to do but I'm already on Cody's side. It was to, I guess, turn Brock Lesnar heel, but for me, Brock Lesnar is always heel. I don't care what his alignment is.
I don't care what flannel shirt and cowboy hat he's wearing.
He's
a heel.
I've never thought of him as anything else.
And he just looks like he smells like, come on. And the thing is, too, like Brock Lesnar had his, and no offense, but it's just like the combination of factors for me with Brock. And if I'm Cody Rhodes, like I'm trying not to say what I'm trying to say, but basically like Brock just gives vibes that like maybe the rest of Cody's family wouldn't feel comfortable with, including his wife.
Yes. And can I tell you how gagged I was when I saw Cody's wife? I was like,
yeah, Brandy.
Yeah.
I love this version of Brandy. She shows up, she's supportive. But yeah, just like stay away from Brock Lesnar. Like there's nothing about this man.
Definitely seems like a
Mari, thoughts? Yeah. Do you think that Brock Lesnar is trustworthy to people?
My thoughts are this is not going to go anywhere. It's literally just Brock beating Cody up so that he can get the people who were inexplicably cheering him to boo him, and it's just like whatever to me. I don't think they did not address it on SmackDown. I don't think Brock Lesnar is sticking around for too much longer.
They kind of had a moment though, like, and we'll get to it later, I think. But Paul Heyman was backstage being interviewed by Kayla Braxton, and it was really more about the Jey Uso stuff. But at one point, she was like, "Do you know what happened with Roman Reigns or not with Brock Lesnar and why he showed up and did we did to Cody?" And Paul was like, "I have no clue what's happening." So in my mind, I could see a world where Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar end up teaming together with Paul Heyman behind them.
That was in my head. I was like, even though everything leading up to them would say that they would never team up, I was like, there's some sort of payola where they're trying to scratch each other's backs, because that is the only thing to me that would make sense as to why Brock Lesnar would have just gone like completely just
berserk.
Yeah, like it was just like, what's going on? Because I mean, I've seen Brock Lesnar have issues with Roman, but I have never seen him have any issues with Cody. I haven't really seen most people have any issues with Cody besides Roman. So it was just like, what backhanded deals did they make? Like, what did the wise man say to Brock Lesnar to get him to do this? Maybe he promised him another ability to like rematch and get the belt.
They kind of try to say on commentary, like, oh, Brock was mad that he went on first. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like, oh, Brock's mad that Cody kind of stole the limelight or something. I don't know. I mean, Brock and Roman teaming up to do like a Mega Powers type thing would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
The problem is we still have this Bloodline storyline that we got to wrap up first. So like, I would love to see that one day. But right now it just doesn't make sense. If they find a way to weave it to make it make sense, cool.
Yeah,
but
I really need them to make it make sense.
Exactly.
that extended beatdown the entire time. I was just like,
so
why is any of this happening?
Yeah,
it was like 10 minutes. Which when they were making their entrances at 10:50, I was like, what is this match gonna be? Like, there's no time for this match. And I should have known right then and there, because I was definitely looking at the clock. I was like, 10:50. Negroes just stepped their butts in the actual ring. Like, there's no way. Like, this is supposed to be a tag match too. Like, I was literally thinking to myself, like, there's no way. And I still wasn't expecting that. I still wasn't expecting that beatdown. So very weird. I'm pretty sure we'll figure out more about that when it comes back. We'll talk more about the Bloodline later. Let's just go down the list here.
Yeah.
So what I didn't include, because who cares, was Austin Theory versus Rey Mysterio in a match. Who cares? I don't care. Whatever. After that match, Judgment Day came out to kind of beat up on Rey Mysterio a little bit more, but Bad Bunny was at ringside again.
BB.
Because he was also at ringside at WrestleMania, where he interfered so Dom wouldn't hit Rey with the chain, which ended up causing Dom to lose the match. Bad Bunny is the freaking best, man. This man is, oh my God, he is so amazing. Dom gets in his face, thinks he's gonna sucker punch him, but Bad Bunny blocks and then punches Dom. So good. And then Damian Priest has to come in and jump in. And I actually like the little storytelling of this all, because Damian Priest and Bad Bunny are friends. This is how Bad Bunny first got introduced. Damian Priest trains Bad Bunny. We do know that. And Damian Priest he felt like he didn't want to do it, but he showed it, put him through an announce table. Bad Bunny is I love Bad Bunny. Like, that man be bumping his ass off. Like, look at that. That was like Damian Priest literally had him by the throat and choke slammed him. Bad Bunny is the best. Oh my God. Yeah. Thoughts on Bad Bunny, Mo?
Everybody in this segment is cool as hell. Let me just say, like between Bad Bunny and Damian Priest, like Damian Priest is cool by himself, and like just like the half English, half Spanish of just like, yo, why did you make me do that? Like, just yelling at him before he puts him through the table was just amazing. It was like chef's kiss to me. Just top to bottom. But Bad Bunny, like this. Obviously, like this feels like it's setting up for a backlash match, like a tag sort of Rey Mysterio, Bad Bunny versus Damian and Dominic. Like, and I see that this is a perfect way to set that up, set that in motion. Like, they sold a ticket basically. See what happens next.
I'm there. I'm seated. Exactly. Maybe even like a whole Judgment Day, like Finn, Dom, and Priest against Rey, Santos Escobar, and Bad Bunny. Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna throw what's his name, Edge, in there, but I don't think we need. I don't.
No
more. Stay wherever he is.
No more Edge, please. Yeah. No more Edge. We're done with Edge. Edge can go off to his own home planet now, and he can just stay away from this storyline. We've seen it before. Edge we're done with Edge.
Throwing ladders at people. And you know what? Like, I also just loved about this segment that we got, like, well, one, Mari, you mentioned like the backstory. I just love the three-way jaw jacking, like, en Espanol, like we got that.
Yes.
So it felt like they were going for something that really did land. And you know what? I appreciate Dom getting punched out twice. Like, good job. But Bad Bunny, like we mentioned it earlier, the way that he bumped through that table, he turned inside out like a rag doll.
I loved it. Oh my God.
He said, I'm taking one bump this month. Probably I'm going to make it really good. So
no, Bad Bunny, of all of the celebrities, you know, we talked about it. His selling is so good. Like in his WrestleMania match, he didn't just sit on the apron. He took most of the punishment to get the hot tag to Damian Priest. Like, I love this is what I'm here for. I'm here for the selling. Like Logan Paul does a great job. He's a great professional wrestler, but he doesn't sell as much as like Bad Bunny sells. You know what I'm saying? Like, like knowing what your expertise is and then using it to the fullest. I think I always like people who can sell more than people who can take big moves. Totally. So who can do big moves. So I'm so excited. This whole segment here was really just about Bad Bunny more than Judgment Day. We'll get to Judgment Day later. I think this like Mo said, this sells the tickets. This makes me, I can't wait for Backlash in Puerto Rico. I can't wait for him to host it. Bad Bunny is so freaking cool. They are so lucky that they have the like largest streaming global superstar interested in their product. Right. Yeah, and I hope the fans have like warmed up to him since. But I think how can you be mad at this man? He comes in and takes like huge spots.
Do you think that he's going to fence off against Damian Priest in Puerto Rico?
I think he's still. I don't know if he's has enough yet to do one-on-one. He hasn't done a one-on-one match yet, so I wouldn't give away a one-on-one on Backlash. I would definitely continue to do more tag team stuff and maybe build to a one-on-one for SummerSlam. Yeah, if he's available for SummerSlam, I would want him to build to a one-on-one match with maybe Damian Priest at SummerSlam.
Yeah, because like we know that he'll be at Backlash as the host. So
yeah.
For me, I wonder if it'll be like a Miz Snoop Dogg situation where he's also wrestling.
That was so good. I the whole time Snoop was up there, I kept saying, I want to see him wrestle. So when he was like people's elbow, I was like, yes.
I need to rewatch that.
It was very entertaining.
It was like way better than it should.
It was entertaining.
Improvised.
Yeah. Because Shane McMahon.
I hate Snoop so much. Like he's way too that man to have his life.
He just lived a life.
I know.
You'll find him in the far reaches of the world in the most random commercials or videos or whatever. It's just like
it must be nice.
With Martha Stewart.
Exactly. Like when the aliens come, you best believe he's gonna be the one. He's gonna be like the voice actor.
They'll be like, send us your leader. We'll be like, send Snoop.
Send Snoop.
We stole the aliens some Skechers.
Some aliens.
Yeah.
So let's move on a little bit because I think when Mike asked us, does the Raw after Mania lose its juice? I think yes, when it comes to this next clip. The only returnee that we had on Monday, we had no debuts. We had one returnee, and it was Matt Riddle.
You know what? Nobody who asked for. Well, you know what? There have been people, I'm sure, asking for this. I just don't know them or respect them.
So Matt Riddle interrupts The Miz as The Miz is talking about his matches on WrestleMania, and it's okay. And then Matt Riddle comes out later in SmackDown to help Cody to get that rub. I'm not buying it. I don't care. Go away.
You know what though? It is kind of funny because I wasn't really bothered by it at all until, and you know, it's funny because I don't think we would have talked. I feel like we could have gotten away with not talking about Matt Riddle because I know there have been segments with Matt Riddle and The Miz in the past that we've just glossed over because why? But damn it, he just inserted himself into too much where now we do have to talk about him.
Yeah. And honestly, I would have had to probably again talk about him because he was the only returnee on the Raw after Mania. This was so lackluster, y'all. Like this Raw after Mania, this week after Mania, following such a really good event, arguably, like to have this kind of follow-up, do you want people to continue watching? Because I don't. We're not. You know what I'm saying? We're going on break. I've never felt so good about going on break in a minute. Like normally me and Matt are like, oh, we gotta go on break and the things might be heating up a little bit. We might miss some stuff. We are actively trying to decide if we're gonna be on break longer now because there's nothing.
Oh no, it'll be a good break. It'll be good because I feel like
there's nothing to pull me into this.
Right. Like what are we doing
stay
here? I mean, the draft is the one thing, but you know what? We've also, don't underestimate me and Mari. We have taken off through some big things before, and then we'll just come back and talk about it later. So don't underestimate us.
So Matt Riddle. Any thoughts, Odie, on Matt Riddle?
Hold on. Before we even get to your thoughts, is it?
Yes.
Do we just don't like it? Is it official that we don't like Matt Riddle? Like,
no, you can like Matt Riddle.
You can like him.
We can like tell us about how you like Matt Riddle, huh?
Okay, this is what I
talk about it.
Know about Matt Riddle. He's very athletic.
Okay.
And he doesn't wear any shoes.
You like that about him?
No, I'm just saying those.
Those are the things.
What I like about him, or that he's very athletic. Like he that he like. You can tell generally if there's going to be a match that like he's going to be extending himself. It's going to be great. But other than that, there's nothing about him that I find either endearing or hateful. He's like milk. He's just like a plain glass of
warm milk.
Like I'm not really getting it. Nothing moves me in my spirit. Because like at least Austin Theory, even though he's a heel and like there's often times where I'm rooting against him, he has a little bit of swag. I hate to admit it. I really hate him. He has a little bit of swag that endears me to him a little bit, you know.
I'm learning something about you today.
But like this other guy, the bro. I feel like I'm anti-bro. I feel like that's what it is. Just anti-bro. And I'm just like, go surf somewhere. Like, I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
He looks like a surfer.
He
100%. I bet you he surfs on the weekends. I bet you he does. I don't know.
That's the vibe
about him. I'm like, thanks for helping out Sami. But other than that,
no, Sami did not ask for that or need it.
He didn't. He didn't ask because you know what? Kevin Owens was hurt. But like, I just don't feel. I feel like he's just like trying to put himself in the action.
For the record,
give us the record.
For the record, it should be noted that he was taken out months ago by Solo Sikoa, so it makes sense for him to want to go after the Bloodline. That's why he was off TV for as long as
I did think about that.
Yes, and he was getting his revenge, and it also aligned with helping Sami Zayn. So that makes sense. I just want to sit here and I guess defend Matt Riddle and the help that he's trying to give, because now there seems to be like a little bit of evenness. Like Jay and Jimmy can battle against Sami and KO, and Solo now can contend with Matt Riddle.
Okay, but how many people are going to be on teams? Sami and KO, they already have each other. They have Cody Rhodes, who I feel like is a great ally. I mean, how many more people?
4.
Do we need?
4.
3's company, 4's a crowd.
Well, first, you know what? I'm not getting into this anymore. We can move on.
No, you're making a good point. It's just sad that it's Matt Riddle, because I just it will never be there for me.
Okay.
So,
and you know what? He's trying though. This is my one thing to Matt Riddle's credit. He is trying. He didn't put on shoes or socks, which I would have appreciated, but he did put on like the little short trunks. You know, he went from like the shorts to the trunks.
I hate the trunks.
Which I know it is kind of weird, actually. But I think that he's like, okay, I'm gonna come back with something new. Watch this. I'll show 3 more inches of leg. You know.
You know who he reminds me of? Jungle Boy.
But
like low rent Jungle Boy.
He does. You know why?
No.
Because when he came out, for a little bit, I was thinking that was him, And I was like, wait, why does he have all the stuff that Jungle Boy usually has? So it's just like warm milk. Like he's very much like
that's so rude to Jungle Boy.
That is rude.
Anywhere.
See, thank you, Mari, for being on my side now. That is
he doesn't have anything distinctive.
I can admit, don't compare Jungle Boy to Matt Riddle.
Oh my gosh.
I can't remember anything about Matt Riddle. So the moment I saw him, I was placing somebody else that I thought was kind of like connected to him. But he's boring.
Away with you. Away with you on this tape.
All right, let's move on to this number one contenders match for the women's tag titles. We kind of referenced it a little bit earlier, but Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan faced off against Io and Dakota in a number one contenders match opportunity to face the Lita and Trish but Lita and Becky with Trish in the corner. They won, and this was on the backs of the heels of Bayley not being there, Bayley walking out, Io and Dakota losing to Raquel and Liv. Like, why? They've been a tag team all of 3 weeks. Why would the former women's tag teams title holders of like 6 months lose to this ragtag team? Dumb.
Wow. I thought you were going to say raggedy.
That's what I thought.
You were saying raggedy too.
But like, they should have won at Mania, and now they're losing on Raw. I'm very scared for them.
I am. You know what, Mari? Okay, now I'm like revisiting this in my head because I feel like I've gone back and forth where we were so firm about Damage Control. I mean, not only needing to win, but that being our prediction. And then Lita, Trish, Becky, they won. And you know what? I do appreciate a moment. Like, I do appreciate them giving that moment at WrestleMania.
The moment wasn't worth it.
But the thing is, Damage Control did not land. My thing was, I thought that Damage Control would land on their feet on the Raw after Mania and like completely sweep everybody. But we're just going downhill.
That WrestleMania moment wasn't worth it. They just beat them 3 weeks prior for the titles. So it wasn't even a title moment at WrestleMania.
But you know how legendary Lita
I get it.
Trish Stratus. I don't know if you've had any satisfaction today, stratisfaction today, Mari, but have some respect. And you know what? Legends deserve wins at Mania, but it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it for what the road they decided to go on.
And so then we get this lackluster promo from them, like Becky, like, oh, we're gotta elevate these titles, like
they think that they're Sasha and Naomi.
No, not that. I think that it was kind of like a callback. I think Becky was kind of like, dog, like,
yeah.
I think she's seeing that what they saw, because I'm pretty sure when Becky had to take the quote unquote step down to put these tag titles on her, she was promised a lot of things to make to be able to make the titles worth it, and then we get this. So like I could definitely feel that Becky is feeling the frustration that led to Sasha and Naomi walking.
But by the way, speaking of the Four Horsewomen, because we're probably not going to properly talk about her, but did you see the news? Complete side note about Charlotte Flair doing bodybuilding competitions and maybe leaving to do that for a little bit.
Oh, yeah. She's leaving to do that? No, that's good.
You're like, oh God, I've just been wishing that she's not going to come back for forever. But yeah, that's what I saw. So I just think it's interesting that all of Bayley, where's Bayley? Obviously, Naomi and I should say Trinity and Mercedes have been gone. Charlotte may not be active. Becky might not be happy. So they're kind of screwing up right now with the women, which we've known and seen, but it's getting worse.
So, and then Liv and Raquel fought Natalya and Shotzi on SmackDown too, to also build momentum. They will be facing Lita and Becky on Raw this coming week. Do we care, Odie?
No. Do we care is a question.
It's the question. Do we care that Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez will be facing off against Lita and Becky for the titles?
A fair question,
I feel like I personally don't care. And this is the thing. I think that Raquel, I really, really like her as a wrestler. But I don't think the match with Liv works at all, because even though, like I've said, I've already talked about my issues with the women's wrestling division. But like Raquel, whenever I watch her, even though I'm not like, she's not a personality that I necessarily like gravitate towards or feel really invested in. However, when I watch her fight, I feel like she wrestles really hard and is like, she's throwing people, she's jumping, like it's like she's putting in a lot of work. And comparatively, when you see Liv come in the ring, it's like a complete 180.
It's like night and day.
Yeah, and I'm just like, this does not match up. Like if say for some random dimension, it was Raquel and like Rhea Ripley, I feel like they match each other's kind of steez where they both go really hard. So I feel like I want her to be able to get more face time and more ring time to show what she can do, but I want them to pair her with someone who's not just a Barbie doll. And not the I'm Barbie and I'm a wrestler. It's like the veterinarian Barbie.
And maybe build a better personality other than I have a strong back. Like that's all. That's basically her main thing. She smiles and then she
shows her back.
Like,
that isn't even that strong.
It. She works really hard. I agree, but like personality wise, that's all there is.
I think she needs a new partner. And even when she was talking, was it at SmackDown about how, me and Liv we're finally starting
to click.
And it's like, you should have every other person in the tag. Well, not every other person, but there's a majority of people in tag teams. They have a really good backstory. Like this story between the two of them just feels very hodgepodge. You just threw it together and said, "Oh, we need more women. We don't have enough women teams." So boom, there you go.
That's
literally what happened.
Well, you know what?
But
I'll just acknowledge, like
I can't let that slide.
I'll just say, like you mentioned, wanting good backstory. Raquel's back is her story. Like, that
is. There we go. There we go.
He's so proud of
Okay, I don't have anything else to say. That's just all about it.
I'm sorry. The fact that we're trying to say that Liv is holding Raquel Rodriguez down is preposterous. It's preposterous. Raquel Rodriguez is a charisma vacuum suck, and she's lucky. She's lucky that Liv Morgan is giving her the time of day to put her in the spotlight, because neither of them should be together. I agree with that. Unfortunately, all of the tag teams that Raquel has ever been a part of, it's this big woman, little woman matches where it's like, I'm the big brute. She's the high flyer. We're gonna get along so great. And it's stupid. I agree, it's stupid, but I don't think it's Liv Morgan's fault. It's Raquel's fault. She's not good. She's not a good wrestler. She's not good on the mic. She has no character at all. Rude. And she smiles too much. Liv Morgan
smile too much.
You can't tell her not to smile,
Liv Morgan,
you can't tell her to smile and not to smile. Really, what's going to make you happy
is a singles wrestler, and the fact that they keep putting her in these stupid tag teams because she's so popular that they want her to rub off on other people is stupid. Liv should be the first person fighting Rhea for that SmackDown belt, if anything. So
Mari, you need to stop. Don't disrespect.
We are not about to disrespect
like
Liv Morgan like this.
Oh, no,
I will disrespect Raquel all up and down this podcast.
Liv Morgan bump, so like her face, it does a lot.
She's
but I
so
do
good.
feel, and she has climbed definitely. Like her she had a solid. Actually, she had an amazing Royal Rumble performance this past year. But here's my thing. We could all agree, like, let's just come together around what we're gonna come together around. Like Raquel, what do we have?
I mean, we agree. What we're coming together around is that this is stupid. They should not be a team, and they should not be challenging for the women's tag titles. I think, to me, this will be an easy win for Team Bestie and
no,
Becky.
No, girl. It's gonna be Liv and Raquel winning.
No.
Yes.
God.
That would
Can I tell you why I think that's what's gonna happen?
Oh, because you think Trish is gonna turn on them?
No, I mean maybe, but so I think the match was probably supposed to be Ronda and Shayna versus Lita and Becky.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume Ronda and Shayna would have won somehow. But I feel like they just needed to have a team to slot in because apparently Shayna and Ronda are injured. So
yeah, Ronda has a fractured elbow, and we still don't know what's going on with Shayna's foot.
But I'm just like, why would you have this match? Like, why would we have the match if Raquel and Liv are gonna lose?
Why
like,
would you have let Ronda and them win?
Well, because I don't think because Shayna got injured in that match apparently.
But Ronda was injured before the match. Ronda had
Ronda. So I think I'm just letting you know what I think is gonna happen. I don't want to happen, but I think that Liv and Raquel might have those championships this time next week. And thankfully we won't be talking about it. So but yeah,
I mean, they can if they want to have it. That's fine. But it's just then what do they do? Like,
it's not fine with me. I don't like it.
It doesn't make sense. There's no tag teams, and then like Natalya and Shotzi called themselves the ballsy badasses or something. I was like, no,
heard that name and
stop that.
Yeah,
stick with the Black Hearts if we're really gonna be like, what? They better not go by that.
I mean, I just have to say, I don't know if I said this before, but I don't like the name the Black Hearts because Shotzi's last name is Blackheart.
Oh, so shit. I forgot about that.
I thought that was why you suggested it. Yeah.
Well, no, because like Shotzi, like black, and then a heart from Natalya. So
they're not
like
black.
HART. Of course they're not black. That. I forgot. No, it's been so long since Shotzi had her last name. I totally kind of forgot about that.
Wait, oh my god, that's hilarious. I meant to say something.
It made sense. Anyways, I still think I like the Black Hearts.
I like this. I agree. I do like it too.
Name or not.
Yeah, the capitalization could be like, or the stylization.
Black.
Plus, they had a good logo that someone made.
That logo was cool
on Twitter, right?
Yeah. All right, so we need to take another break. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back with the rest of the highlights of the week. Okay, so annoying. This for me, sorry everybody, it's a little negative this week because this was dumb. I like not this, but like all of this was dumb. So Bianca comes out to the crowd. The one thing I want to say about one thing that I kind of want to like a addendum from our coverage of the night 2 of the Bianca and Asuka match. I wanted to say, Matt, I want to give you more praise to you were right. I think that crowd really was more split than I gave them credit for. I think I kept saying like I didn't like that Bianca was getting booed, but I think you and Havan made a great point that it was like they were both really good competitors, and it was more of a split crowd than anything more than like the crowd turning on Bianca. Because I do think that Bianca got a pretty good reception here, the Raw after Mania as well still. Like I think people are making it sound like she's getting turned on more than she truly actually is, and I don't want to be a part of that. That being said, we have no idea what her next move is after this week, which pisses me off tremendously. All we got is her. Like, I love her. You know, it's Bianca. She's gonna come out. She's gonna cut the promo. She's gonna be like, we did it. You know, she's gonna give props to her challenger. She said Asuka's the best, and to beat the best, you know, you gotta beat the best. All that good stuff. And then she's interrupted by Rhea Ripley, which is like cool and all because I love them both. And I think it's cool. But like Rhea is already the SmackDown Women's Champion. You're the Raw Women's Champion. You guys come out. You come face to face like, oh, I like the thought process of like Rhea's like, you're lucky that I faced Charlotte instead of you because that's the only reason why you still have your belt. And Bianca's, you know, it's Bianca. She's like, I'm come with it. And it was a cute segment, but this does nothing for us right now. You know what I'm saying? Like there should be no reason why in any near future that they should be facing off against each other, because they both have the belts. Now, unless you're gonna unify them, which they should not even be thinking about at all. And I don't think they are thinking about that. I just think they were like, we got to throw Bianca out there. We have nothing for her. Let's just throw Rhea out there because Triple H loves Rhea. You know, Rhea's getting her time in the spotlight. She did beat Charlotte Flair, so you got to like really capitalize on that. So the segment itself, okay, I liked between the two of them, but it did nothing to move the needle for what happens next with Bianca.
Well, I'm trying to figure out right now, like, what was supposed to happen with these triple threat matches that would have had a number one contender, or I guess like two people who would have competed to be the number one contender for Bianca. And I'm assuming that Raquel and Liv and Damage Control wouldn't have been in that. I'm just trying to figure out, like, was that tag match planned for Raw?
Just from what I understand, they said it wasn't at all.
Oh, so maybe, who knows? I mean, maybe they were supposed to be involved in the triple threats, but I'm really trying to wrap my head around, like, who were they trying to set up to be against Bianca next? And I have no clue. Like, would Becky, I mean, it almost wouldn't make sense for Becky to be in that because has the tag titles. Like, Bayley could have been in that. Maybe
I'm still thinking it would have been Asuka. I think Asuka would have had to been in one of them, and I think again, just turn up that
Asuka would have definitely been in one of those.
I think. Like, I'm so confused, and we can't just sit here and try and guess what could have been or what should have been. I just am looking at what they gave us, and as much as I love this standoff, and I like them coming face to face, and it kind of I like it, but I don't, because I feel like Bianca's streak, her three-peat streak, like Rhea could be the person to break that, and that I don't like, but I do like it, but I don't, but I do. But it just are you gearing us up for next year? Because that's what people were saying as soon as they saw that. They're like, this is the match for WrestleMania 40. This is going to be the match for WrestleMania 40. One of them got to lose them belts, and it's probably going to be Bianca between then and now, you know. So,
by the way, let me just like come back to the triple threat thought, because I was looking at Fightful, and here's what they had like rumored on the run sheet as the two triple threat matches. So,
oh God, I'm about to be mad.
So number one was Liv Morgan versus Dakota Kai versus Piper Niven, and then the other one is Candice LeRae versus Raquel Rodriguez versus Io Sky. Which is bizarre, but and I'm not even mad because those are just different people in the mix, but that's what they had. And Fightful is usually accurate, except they changed the hell out of the show.
So now I'm thinking, I'm agreeing with you, Matt, that they might win these tag title belts then.
Depressing.
Yeah. Mo, any thoughts on all of this?
No. No. It doesn't look. I would love nothing more than to see Bianca and Rhea at some point down the line. Future. But like you said, like it doesn't help to elevate the division when you're just like putting on a maybe future possible match down the line instead of like giving us what is the next step? Who is Bianca facing next? Who is going to be next in line, or elevating somebody in that division so that they can potentially go up against Bianca? Like, that's supposed to be what Raw after Mania is for. It's supposed to be like it's the end of the WrestleMania is the end of old stories, and Raw after Mania is supposed to be the beginning chapter of the next set of stories. And we didn't really get that at all. Like all we got is just like a teaser for a potential WrestleMania match a year from now.
A year from now.
So like that part annoys the shit out of me too.
Yeah.
That's why.
Well, we're here, so we might as well go into Rhea and the Judgment Day segment on SmackDown after Triple H gave his rousing draft speech.
First of all, why is this man giving so many speeches? Like, no one.
I don't understand. They're like the people are scared you are not back here anymore. Go show your face. Like they're like pushing him out there so people know that he's still back there. But after he gave this rousing speech and he was like, I have this person here. Like, I got excited because I'm like, okay, this is technically the SmackDown after WrestleMania. I'm like, okay, is somebody else going to come out? No, it was just Rhea. And it was like, okay, cool. Yeah, we get it. Like, Triple H loves him some Rhea Ripley. He's loved her ever since the Mae Young Classic. He put that first NXT UK Women's Championship on her. He then proceeded to put every single belt he could on her anytime he got the notion to do so. So, like, I get it. He loves him some Rhea. Great. This is a great introduction. Awesome. This Judgment Day segment was hilariously good, but also really awkward and also bad in a bad way. Like, I went into WrestleMania saying the Judgment Day should have swept all of their matches. They should have swept all of their matches, and I still stand by that, even though I came down on the Rey Mysterio thing of it all, because that was a pretty cool win. Finn should have definitely beat Edge
for sure. Absolutely.
For sure. And I think Dominic could have beat Rey. I think unfortunately because they lost but Rhea wins in this Judgment Day segment, we're getting people trying to explain away their losses, and it's stupid. Like Finn Balor being like, oh, I got 14 staples, but I'm still standing, and where's Edge? Just like cute, but you still lost. Yes, I know. Like, World. Like, what? It doesn't make sense. It's stupid. And then when they hand the mic to poor Dom, who is the heat magnet of all heat magnets, this man can't get a word out. And somebody said they booing him like he actually won that match, which is like, which is true. Like, could you? That's why I thought he should have won, because I thought he would have gotten this reaction had he won. He's still getting this reaction after he lost, which is a great sign for him. The problem is the promo. Whoever wrote that promo for him did not anticipate this, because this is one of those delusional heel promos that need to be delivered in a certain way, and that he could not do that over that crowd. You know what I'm saying? So I felt so bad for him, because I felt bad for him in a sense that he couldn't get his promo out, and he looked visibly frustrated. He kept going in and out of like character. You could tell he was kind of going in and out of character a little bit. Because I'm pretty sure he enjoys the booze, because that's some real heat. But you also have a job to do, and you have to get that promo out. And that promo was a stupid ass promo to begin with. Even when I had to go back and watch it and fight through it to like fight through all the cringe to have him listen to it, talking about, oh, I pulled my punches on my father. Like it didn't make sense. The promo itself did not make sense. He tried to demonize Rey for like, he was like, what kind of father puts their hands on their child? Which,
good question.
Which would be an okay promo if he could deliver it in a certain style. But unfortunately, because of the reactions, he couldn't give that style. He couldn't give that delusional machismo weird style. So it just made the promo just dumb. And honestly, if he won, he could have just been like, stay mad, and then just handed the mic to somebody else. But because he didn't win, we got to do this stupid justification that he wasn't hitting him. Like it's I don't know. It's stupid. I don't know. Odie, what are we thinking?
I think that the Judgment Day's segment was just weird for me, because the whole, to me, as someone who has watching the Judgment Day and like their trajectory, it's very much like no fucks given. We're gonna come here, we're gonna mess you up, and we're out. We don't care about your feelings. We don't care about alliances or anything like that. So for like Finn and Dominic to be like explaining away
their losses,
it felt weird to me. Like, because Finn's like, what kind of sicko are you to have to hit me with the head with a ladder? But that would be something he would do. Like, it wasn't. It's not as if you all fight clean and you never interfere and you always make sure that it's an even match. Y'all are consistently intervening and cheating to win. So to me, that it just didn't. Their promos did not coincide with the actual reality of the Judgment Day. And I will say that I did feel a little bad for Dominic because of like everyone booing him, only because like obviously everything that this is all done for a reason, and like when they get out of the ring, who knows what's going on. But it's like to not be able to like just do your job and say what you need to say so you can finish it and move on. That is a bit sad, but also it is still, I would say, well deserved because you're
well deserved. Yep,
you are the one. You can't talk about what type of man is going to go against his son when you're the one who has been consistently antagonizing and fighting and hurting your own father, your mother, your sister. First of all,
he wanted the match.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, don't come to me now talking about, I can't believe you fought me. You told me to.
Yeah.
It would match up.
They both did one of those alternative universe style promos. It's trying to be it's trying to be like really delusional type promos, but it just doesn't jive with the type of heat that they have. They have such good heat that trying to weave this tale of, oh my God, we are the true victims here. Like we are the ones. Why did you beat us up like that? And see, I proved to everybody that you're a horrible father because you put your hands on me. It's funny and I get it, but it's not appropriate for the situation because y'all are already over and like really cool and badass. So it's just like I don't know. I don't know. Matt, what do you think?
Okay. I think the weirdest part of the promo is that Rhea won her match and she had like 1 minute on the mic, and then it went to the rest of them, and it's like, maybe end on a high note or even begin and end on a high note, but like you don't go from like the winner to the losers, and the losers have more time talking about what they're talking about.
Well, the losers have to explain why they lost.
Yeah, but I think but I agree. Dom had a lot of the crowd jumping out. Like I knew he had his scripted lines he needs to get across, but I think he, to his credit, did a good job. Like
he did.
Doing his crowd work basically and like responding to it or working it in and getting a reaction out of them, which is his job at the end of the day. It just like, it sucks when things are overly scripted.
Exactly.
Because it just doesn't, it's like
he can't pivot.
He can't really pivot that hard. Like he can't fully, but he's so great at getting a reaction. Like I think that he did an awesome job. I did not feel bad for him. I just feel like it was a little bit out of his control with the crowd reaction, but that's what he wants. Like
that's what he wants. Yeah.
The thing is, but he didn't have like that smirk, like, oh yeah, this is what I'm into. Like
exactly.
That was the thing. Kind of like
he kept losing it. Like he kept losing it. Like I think he just got frustrated that he couldn't deliver the promo. And I don't think he was frustrated with the audience per se. I think he's frustrated because he knows they're telling him he has to get this promo out.
Yeah, but, and he's like delivering his lines while also like and remembering those, right? While also like responding to the crowd. It was a lot of you could see the wheels turning.
The wheels turning, exactly. Yeah.
But I think that his response is indicative to my feelings I've had about him all this time. That he's rebelling against his father and his family, but he's only rebelling because he's hurt and he doesn't actually want to fight them. And so when he sees the audience reaction and how the vitriol they're giving him for this fight against his father, I feel like this is edging us towards the breakdown of Judgment Day, where Rhea Ripley's going to be to him. You're too weak to be my man because you don't want to stand up to your father.
Wow.
And then they're going to have a split, and then he's going to go walking back to his dad. That is my theory.
You just want all these factions to break up. That's all.
No, I mean, okay.
It's like the third faction.
I will say,
yeah. I think this is just gonna lead to the destruction.
The only reason I want Judgment Day to break up, in the sense of Dominic leaving, is because I just feel it's so sad that he and his father, who are both great wrestlers, can't be.
One is a great wrestler. One is improving. The other is improving. He's improving in the ring, and the other one is a legend.
Yeah, and we can't go through all this just for them to reconcile a month later. We need
a month later, but I just feel like at the end of by next year, I would be like, there to be some reconciliation. I just want that. I feel like I want that story between him and his dad of him being like, you know what? I'm sorry. I was an asshole. I love you. I was just so mad at you. Because there's a thin line between love and hate. Okay?
That's right.
He's hearing.
I wonder if the funnier thing of this promo would have been if he just like kind of threw a tantrum and just like, just kind of like threw the mic and kind of just yelled his, like, honestly, I think it would have been cooler if, like, two things. The mic is picking you up. It doesn't matter if they can't hear. Mm-hmm. I might have actually started whispering so that if they wanted to hear me, they would have had to shut up. I would have been like, guess what, Dad? Oh, y'all want to listen now? You know what I'm saying? I would have either did that or I would have thrown the mic, found the cameraman, delivered promo straight to the cameraman. Like, Dad, I know you're listening. You're the worst. Blah blah blah.
Damn, look at Mari with her acting advice, the improv right here.
I mean, because honestly, I think because trying to get loud and get over the crowd is only gonna try and make the crowd drown you out. You know what I'm saying?
They're like, I can get loud too. Like, come on.
Exactly. So just stay directly into the mic because the mic is picking them up. You know what I'm saying? The mic will pick you up. And that means I can hear you at home. Deliver your promo like you're gonna deliver it. If they want to hear, they'll shut up. But
like ASMR.
Yeah, exactly. So it was cute. They ended up Dominic Mysterio and Damian Priest ended up facing off against Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar, which they are officially called the LWO, Latino World Order. Like, I love this. I like, even though like bye to Legado del Fantasma. You will be missed. But I think if we're steering directly into this face turn, that the name change is appropriate. And I'm so happy for them. And Santos Escobar is giving like a promo, like WWE exclusives, like directly in all Spanish and stuff, and is getting like so much good feedback and stuff. Like, this is what everybody's looking for, the next Rey Mysterio. We've been looking for them forever, and Santos Escobar is like, hey, I'm here. Look at me.
No, screw that. We need like everyone's like
multiple.
Who's the next Rey Mysterio? But like, let's get all these stars. And you know what? Speaking of which, and I'm surprised you didn't mention this as what might happen, but for Rhea, I feel like I need Rhea versus Zelina Vega for that.
Oh yes,
I need that feud.
Yeah, that could be a good first feud.
I like, how I like a big versus a little.
Yeah,
like that's what we're getting. And honestly, Zelina is so legit. Like,
she's so good.
I feel like she's way more over than they even realize. People want to love her. She's so likable, and
which is why she's looking good as a face.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Odie?
I'm saying we don't really get to see her, and it's like every time she comes out, she always just dominates. And I was thinking that exact same thing. Like, I would love to see them together, because when she hooked her feet around her neck and swung her around, I was like, yes.
Sure.
They've had a pretty good feud a while back, I want to say.
Really?
They've tussled a few times, and I think they should definitely continue.
I would say that this is how you set up the next chapter after a WrestleMania, because like even that little bit of a tease, like Zelina should be built up now a little bit, get like a couple more matches under her belt, one-on-ones, and then go after the championship. Like, even if it's just like a quick program at either Backlash or Queen of the Ring or something like that, like they could definitely build her up to do that. That's how you get us interested in the next step of the championship. You know, like, just even that one little hurricanrana was enough to get me jazzed up to see them go up against each other.
Yeah,
exactly.
Ooh, and you know what? Like, I mark my words. Zelina Vega will be the next Rey Mysterio. There we go. There we go. That's what I want.
Yes, I love her. She's small but mighty. She does the damn thing. Like, you don't have to be a tall, super bulky woman to get out there and be throwing people around. She uses all of her resources, and I love it. She is my short queen. And I'm just here for her. Like I really don't see her often, which it always makes me upset because every time she comes out, she just like blows things.
She looks so good too.
Yeah,
so good. And we stand a short queen over here.
So I do like this. I do like Judgment Day continuing their beef with LWO. Like this is what's gonna sell tickets on SmackDown. Like this is what's gonna sell on SmackDown. And this is probably one of the main reasons I thought SmackDown was a much better show than Raw. And I was starting to realize too, like the tag titles and stuff have been kind of the main center focus of SmackDown, while the main titles has been like the main focus of Raw, even though Sami and KO did agree to do a non-title match against the Street Profits. We are going into the next storyline if you guys haven't noticed, but Sami and KO, they come off a big high from WrestleMania. They got their WrestleMania moment. They come out on Raw and basically issue an open challenge. The Street Profits come out, who are of course the winners of the showcase, but this is like a non-title match and it was a great match. I mean, duh, it's the Street Profits versus KO and Sami. It's a great match, but KO and Sami win, and it just like it was one of those. It felt like one of those things where it's like, here's some wrestling, because this was like one of the longest matches on the whole Raw card, and there was only probably about like 20 minutes of wrestling total on that
3 hours
show. Yeah, so it was great, right here and there. Before we get into SmackDown. And then on SmackDown, Jay finds out that he's on his own tonight because Jimmy was sent to the jet or whatever. Sami is still obsessed with toppling the Bloodline, and he thinks he can do that. He can also think he can talk Jey Uso into, I guess, still leaving the Bloodline. Roman tells Jay to finally handle the Sami Zayn problem. Like, how many times have we heard this? Like, how many times have we heard like, Jay, go handle Sami Zayn? It's a one-on-one between Sami and Jay, and it's like,
I'm so confused. I feel like with all of these promos, I thought it was me, and maybe it was me, but also like I'm watching every time. I'm like, what the hell are they saying this week? Like, so Paul Heyman backstage, and I watched that like twice. I'm like, what are you telling me? So you're saying now Jay needs to go do it by himself and Jimmy's at home, because like it just feels kind of convoluted. And I get like this is supposed to be the best story ever, but I just like keep it simple. What are we doing here? And I feel like Sami's just setting himself up to look like kind of look like an idiot, because it seems like Kevin Owens knows like Sami's overplaying his hand, trying to be the hero to everybody. Yeah. And it's just like I feel like Sami's going downhill a little bit. Not in terms of his overness with the crowd, but just like in terms of his respect that you'd give him. Maybe a little bit similar to Cody. Like Cody trusted Brock and got his ass kicked. Sami's trusting Jay. Similar thing, similar results. So, you could
definitely tell here that KO is kind of like, we got the belts, we don't need to continue this. But Sami's like, no, I want to talk some sense into Jey Uso. They end up having a match. Solo Sikoa takes out Kevin Owens before the match with the spike, and so it's just Sami by himself, him versus Jey Uso. But then Jey Uso and Solo come out. Matt Riddle comes out for the save, like you said. Mo, how do we feel about this, like KO, Sami Zayn, and the Bloodline thing here? What do we feel about this, or what did they give us here? They gave us nothing, but what?
I agree that it just feels slightly repetitive. Because like even the phrase "deal with the Sami Zayn" is like kind of a repetitive portion of this long standing story. However, I've been on this ride with this story for as long as I have been. Like at this point, it's been over a year, 2 years at this point.
2 years, something like that. Yeah,
something along those lines. Like I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt and maybe have like a soft week where they sort of reset or retread a little bit of ground. I'm willing to give them that much grace because the storyline has been even the whole like Jay stopping Solo from like attacking Sami and then he himself is a little bit repetitive. Like, but I'm willing to give them grace. I'm willing to give them the space to tell the story and see where it goes next. But it was definitely noticeable that like a few of the elements here was like very similar to what we've already seen with the Bloodline before.
Yeah, the biggest thing that I didn't realize, like you said, that Matt Riddle, I forgot how Matt Riddle tied into the Bloodline thing, so that's kind of a little exciting ish.
Is it? Well,
I mean, the story is
it's good that they're tying it into the story, because maybe you have Matt Riddle and Solo go do their thing, or that's the story, and then the Usos and KO and Sami are still there. So yeah, I mean, it is good because it does like even the odds just a little bit, unless there's someone I'm not counting.
And it feels like I think either you or Havan said about like the slowly pushing the Usos out of the Bloodline almost too. It's like Roman's basically telling them he doesn't trust them. He trusts Solo more than he trusts the both of them. So
Roman is like a cult leader. He is he's giving like what is it, like Jim Jonestown vibes, because he is like slowly getting paranoid, like he's just like losing it, and I don't think it's gonna end well for anybody.
At the what was it on SmackDown with like his whole demeanor, even at WrestleMania, I would say like his whole demeanor has changed from the usual pompous, I'm the tribal chief, y'all can't fuck with me, to having a bit of like a fear and uncertainty. Like when Brock Lesnar came out and said he was gonna fight him, he was shook. And I'm like, this is just kind of showing you things to come, because he has distrust in his bloodline, and that distrust is causing him to have distrust in himself, and distrust or fear about going against people. And honestly, the shocker would be if we find out that the wise man has been playing him this whole time and is in somebody else's pocket. That is my telenovela storyline, and I'm going to stick with it. Just because, listen,
it's like too long of a game. Like what?
Because I just feel like I don't trust the wise man. I don't trust him. I feel like he would do whatever he needs to do to keep Roman in his pocket and to alienate him from everybody else so he can run the show.
I would say that Paul Heyman isn't loyal necessarily to Roman Reigns. He's loyal to the championship.
The championships, and he's proven that time and time again. So, and that's what Cody said, right? Cody said that once he loses those belts, then he'll lose Paul Heyman, he'll lose the Island of Relevancy and all of that. So, I mean, it's interesting, but it didn't move the needle for this week for me, personally. And
I'm stuck with the long game of Paul Heyman.
There's always a conspiracy theory brewing in the back of my mind, because I just feel like some of these things don't make any sense, and I'm just like, how can I connect the dots? Like, what else could be going on?
Like maybe long game, he's been working with Cody. Cody was in AEW, I think, when the Bloodline story started, and when Roman and Paul Heyman got together. So maybe this was Paul Heyman who was like, okay, I'm going to get in Vince McMahon's ear about hiring Cody back, and then I'm going to be opposite of Cody, and then I'm going to screw Roman so that Cody wins the championship, even though I've been pretending that I hate him and that his father doesn't care about him. I mean,
you never know.
I'm not against it.
You never know. Well, that's it for the highlights of the week in wrestling. Of course, all the highlights are in a very handy playlist that you can find either in your show notes or show description. This was fun. You guys made it fun. Mo and Ode, can you please tell our guests where they can find you? We'll start with Mo.
All right. So individually, you could find me at Licorice is Legit. That's LICORISH is legit across all social media. Podcast wise, you could find us on Instagram at Black and Snerdy Podcast. You could find us on Twitter at Black and Snerdy. And you can find us on Facebook at the Black and Snerdy Podcast.
Great. Ode, how about you?
And you can find me on Instagram at That's OD. It's THATSOD.E. And then on Twitter, it's same thing except it's underscore. And then you can also find us our podcast on Spotify. It's on Apple Podcasts. It's on Anchor.
Wherever you can find podcast, you can find us.
Yeah, you can just go on Anchor, type in the Black and Snerdy Podcast, and we will pop right up, and we'll be ready to hear from you after you subscribe, comment, and share.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And we'll make sure to put a link in our show notes directly for the Black and Snerdy Podcast. Matt, what do you have going on?
Oh, thank you for asking, Mari. I didn't think it was going to come up. Not a lot, thankfully, right now, podcast wise. It's good. It feels good getting ready to go into a little wrestling or RHAPUp break. But you know what? I probably will also be recording some episodes for Pod Friends here on Rob Has a Podcast, interviewing people in this Rob Has a Podcast community. Maybe that'll come back this summer, but stay tuned for that and subscribe to the podcast at robhasawebsite.com/podfriendsfeed, where you can listen to lots of episodes, including, I believe, episode 3 or 4 featuring Mari Forth, but also so many other great conversations. And other than that, you can find me at Matt Scott GW on the social media. I would also just encourage folks to subscribe to the Pride Has Spoken podcast, which we do. We just had an episode about anti-trans legislation and horrible people who support it. Boo, 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 screw you. Be a better person. That's basically what we said and more. A lot more informative stuff. And you should subscribe at robhasawebsite.com/pride feed. Other than that, Mari, before I even get back to you, I just want to acknowledge, because it'll probably be too late to do it later. We have had 100. This is basically our 100th episode.
Yay!
Woo! I'm not gonna. I mean, it's like 103, but whatever. Counting.
Yeah. Yes.
So yeah, we made it so far, and we're here somehow, like the cockroaches of Rob Has a Podcast. Actually, we'll work on that.
Yes,
but anyway,
cheers.
Cheers. But Mari, other than celebrating our incredible milestone of 100 plus episodes, where can the people find you, and how will you be celebrating?
Well, we will be on a hiatus, a hiatus. Yes, thank you. Shot.
Oh, damn.
That's how we do.
I love that.
We do it, Black and Snerdy.
Yes.
Shouts out to y'all.
Oh, I wish I would have known that.
Was that it? I'm just gonna assume that was a shot of Fireball, and then we'll keep going.
So thank you. During this hiatus, you can find me on the Crime Scene podcast. It's a true crime review podcast with Sarah Carradine. This week coming up. This past week we had a really good guest. We had really great guests on the. We did MH370, the plane that disappeared, with the Two Girls One Doc podcast crossover. It was so incredibly fun. So go check that out. Upcoming, we decided to review Jared from Subway.
Oh no.
From ID Discovery. We had a cool guest, Mark Blankenship there.
Mark Blankenship?
Mark Blankenship?
Is that his name?
I thought so.
There's a name. There's a Matt Blankenship.
It might be Matt Blankenship.
No, Matt Blankenship is on the season of Survivor.
Oh yes, okay, yes. So it's Mark Blankenship. Yeah, we had this whole discussion about that on the podcast. Like, do you know the guy who's on Survivor?
Wow, okay,
just that's why I was like, I was going back and forth because it was so funny. We had that whole discussion with him too. It's like there's another dude like with the same name. But yeah, so and we talked about the Jared from Subway docuseries.
Not eating fresh. Eating nasty and creepy.
Yeah. So, but definitely go check it out. You can go to RHAPhasawebsite.com/crime feed to subscribe to us there. Over on Post Show Recaps, the Connect on Post Show Recaps is wrapping up our snowfall coverage. We have 2 more episodes there, and we are also wrapping up our swarm coverage as well. So, lots of big things going on over at Post Show Recaps. The Connect I got everything to connect you to the greatest prestige Black television. So you can go to postshowrecaps.com/connect in order to subscribe there. Please go rate, review, and subscribe. Also, you can find me on Twitter at Mari Talks Too Much. That's 2 like the number 2. Go follow me there because anything I'm doing there, I'll retweet. I'll be covering Big Brother Canada this week. I'll be covering Survivor this week. So definitely go follow me there. I've also been streaming on Twitch. Again, twitch.tv/Mari Talks Too Much. I just did a stream last week. I streamed Dredge, a horror fishing game. It was ridiculous. I had so much fun doing that. But if you go and follow me on Twitch, you'll get notified every time I go live. So lots of things going on over here. I'm just praying I can enjoy our break.
You know what? And by the way, Mari, speaking of our break, I'm just going to put out there that during our break, I will, we're doing a vacation type of thing. Yes. I will be in the home of the Trish Stratus, of the home of Edge, going to Toronto, Ontario, Canada. To home of lots of great people and guests for the Rob Has a Podcast live show. So if you are Canadian, tickets are available at some point. I don't even know if they're available yet, but I will be there. So just shouting out, that's where I'm going to be between now and when we come back. If we're not canceled before, you know how things happen, Mari. Z-Way was canceled on Showtime. It could be us next.
So mad about that.
Me too. Yeah. Me too.
But
sorry to end on a low note.
I know. So, of course, if you haven't already, please go rate and review and subscribe for the Wrestling RHAPUp podcast. Go to RHAPhasawebsite.com/wrestling feed. You can also join the RHAP Patreon group. Anytime is a good time to become a patron of Rob Has a Podcast. You can go to patreon.com/RHAP to do that. Matt, I said Matt. Yes, you, but also Mo, Ode, thank you so much. There's too many M's on this podcast. I guess thank you guys so much for coming back on. We love partnering up with the Black and Snerdy Podcast. You guys are amazing. You made this week bearable because it was unbearable. Thank you guys so much. And for me and Matt Scott, remember, wrestling is for everybody, but not all wrestling is for everyone. Bye.
Throw 'em up, lay it down just like Matt and Mari. Wrestling RHAPUp's gonna make you sorry. Feeling like The Rock cause I'm driving in Ferraris. And we coming every week and it's feeling like a party. Will Ric Flair, showing out like Bianca Belair, Best podcast, flush it in the air, Roman Reigns and we win it, don't care, No cap. Throw 'em up, lay it down just like Matt and Mari. Wrestling RHAPUp's gonna make you sorry. Feeling like The Rock cause I'm driving in Ferraris. And we coming every week and it's feeling like a party.